Securing CAD Designs for Defense Contracts, What You Need to Know. Today's webinar is being presented by Secud and Gold Comet. But before I introduce today's speaker, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items. The webinar is being recorded and you'll receive an email with it on demand. We welcome you to revisit the content yourself and to share it with colleagues. We also invite you to comment and question during the webinar. There's a Q&A chat box on your screen and you can add your questions there anytime. If we don't get to your question due to time or need to give a more in-depth answer, we'll reach out to you. We also have a few polling questions during the webinar, and we'll be sure to share the results in a follow-up email. And without any further ado, I'd like to present today's speakers. We've got Blake Wood, Secud VP of Global Alliances, and we've got Gautam Daswani, President of Gold Comet. At this time, I'm going to hand the floor over to Blake Wood, who's going to start today's presentation. Blake, it's all yours.
Thank you, Lon. Yeah, welcome everyone. We appreciate you making some time today to learn more about how we protect CAD files for government contracts. And I'm really happy to be presenting with our valuable partner, Gold Comet, and Gautam, who I've known for some time. Let's jump right. You betcha. Let's jump right into it. Today's talk is going to be, we're going to present both companies, Secud and Gold Comet. We'll talk about the current market landscape and some of the challenges that we have with protecting these types of files in a highly collaborative and regulated environment. Also the problem and mitigation with CMMC 2.0 requirements. We're going to review the HaloCAD solution, which is part of our larger Halo Connect solution, which we'll talk about. And then we'll talk about the solution overview, the Halo Connect solution overview, which is a joint offering between Secud and Gold Comet. And then lastly, we'll do a webinar recap and questions and answers, all the while doing polling questions, which I'm sure everybody will be excited about. Okay, about Secud and Gold Comet, who are we? I will tell you a little bit about Secud. Secud's been around for a while, mostly in the identity and single sign-on space as a partner of SAP's. In 2014, we built a product called Halo Core, where we integrated with Microsoft's Microsoft Purview Information Protection. Some of you might know it as Azure Information Protection or Microsoft Information Protection or the DRM service. It's changed so many times. But we released that in 2014. In 2019, we released a product called Halo CAD, which is about applying that same technology to CAD files. And then here today, in 2024, we're going to talk about our joint effort with Gold Comet and the Halo Connect platform. So I will turn it over to Gautam.
Thanks, Blake, and I'll jump right in. Very excited about this partnership and the information that we're presenting today. I think it'll give everybody a clear process as well as platform that you can store and share CAD files and do it under CMMC requirements. So this is a big deal. I'll start off about Gold Comet. So Gold Comet was founded in 2018. We're actually under the parent company of our parent company, BAI. BAI has been in the program management space for over 25 years. So they're really a veteran in that arena. In 2019, we acquired 4 patents, and those patents were really around methods for secure access control, secure email credentials. We basically start off as an email platform, the capability to share information like an email platform, and we developed from there. In 2020, we queued up our Gold Comet data sharing and data storage. So we pivoted our focus on data storage and the capability to share that information through the email messaging abilities that we already had. In 21, we linked up with the University of Texas at San Antonio, and basically we partnered on a nationwide program called Project Xander. And Project Xander basically gave out free security services in the same way that a medical lab would give out free services or free medical treatment within a community. So there's multiple communities, and we focused on the University of Texas at San Antonio. We had a variety of other industries that we also acquired, and including legal during that time frame as well. We also acquired a few more patents, excuse me, and basically here we are today. So it's been a quick 6-year run with a variety of patents, a variety of capabilities that we've introduced at the highest level. We're highly enthusiastic about our new partnership with Secud, and as I mentioned before, delivering and informing on this product today. Blake, back to you.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, we're going to talk about the CAD landscape and challenges. And Gautam, I'll get your help on this. I think some of these statistics you're a little more familiar with.
Sure. So I'd like to focus on the top right-hand corner, and that has to do with regarding ransomware. So with ransomware, 75% of orgs targeted suffered attacks aimed at IP and CAD files. Moving to the left, 41% of attacks tied to phishing targeted engineering firms to gain access to their CAD files. 79 million domains have been flagged for malicious websites that are pertaining to CAD files. What we're basically saying here is that the industry that produces CAD file, the engineering, architecture, design capabilities, the industries that work in those arenas are susceptible to a larger threat vector right now. Your industry is under attack. Basically, right now, the hackers are going after CAD files and IP in a considerably larger method than they were in the past, because through their tactics and capabilities, they're finding levels of vulnerability that they can actually get the information from. So what we're saying to you is that these are not small numbers, and this is a growing problem. The average data breach costs about $4.5 million. That's expected to rise 15% year over year, no matter what. So by 2025, it's going to be 2.5 million, and by 2026, it's going to be 6 million. Okay, so it's a challenging landscape, but we do have solutions that we're going to, of course, certainly get into as we continue our conversation.
Yeah,
Blake?
and yeah, I wanted to just add one more statistic to that. So that 4.5 million and growing 15% year over year as far as breaches, that's an average business breach. One of the whole reasons for CMMC 2.0 and these protections around the supply chain is when valuable and especially maybe confidential or secret IP is leaked, the losses are much more. So again, this is a problem that hasn't gone away. But these nation-state attacks, especially on the federal government, are looking to continue that. Again, we have an amplified threat vector. We have a lot of changes in IT infrastructure over the last several years with hybrid work environments. A lot of people are remote. This is adding to the challenge of protecting these things in a highly collaborative environment. And Gautam, I'll turn it over to you to talk about the life cycle and some of these other things.
Thanks. Great description on the amplified threat vectors that are taking place right now. I mean, we both understand that remote work is not going away. Of course, some people are called into the office a little bit more regularly these days, but at the end of the day, remote work exists, and it doesn't exist like it did, 20 or 30 years ago. So the fact remains is that threat vector is amplified towards companies that produce CAD files. So we focus on frameworks, and looking at the data lifecycle framework, the capability for an organization to create the controlled and classified information, how they store it, how it's used through the proper channels, and the logs and the information that is comprehended so that it's being used properly, how it's shared, and the permissions that are given around that, then moving into how it's archived, and then moving into how the entire document is disposed of when not needed, is a complete process that a company not only needs to understand, but needs to follow. So these are based on CMMC rules and requirements. So at the end of the day, if your company is not doing this in a systematic manner, you're also playing in an environment that doesn't allow you to be at the highest level of threat protection, right? So just as a starting, because that we have this amplified threat vector, we utilize this framework that allows the process to not only become easy, but become compliant, which is really the focus on the goal of the platform that we're offering you to make sure that you're adhering to those compliances so that you don't have a problem with your DoD contracts or gaining more business. Blake, back to you.
Let's go on to the next one here.
Sure.
Mitigating CAD file vulnerabilities. What can you tell us about that, Gautam?
Sure. So one of the core features of CMMC is the need for end-to-end encryption. Okay. So a focus on the starting point and how that data is ingested has to be encrypted end-to-end. I mean, that's a major case there. So if you're not creating CAD files in your environment and then encrypting them, you're exposing your CAD file or your newly created CAD file to levels of vulnerabilities that you may not even be sure about, right? So we mitigate that in how we in our platform and what we do. So the first thing right off the bat is that if you're not doing any encryption, we solve for that problem for you, right? Of course, your system has to be up to par, right? With your system maintenance and your patches and your updates. Many companies are just playing catch up to this right now. I mean, they're getting there so that they can start adhering to certain rules and regs, but you really need to be there already. So we also provide for that in our platform. Of course, credential control and who's going in and what they're doing when they get in needs to be understood and managed, as well as the logs and all of the information that's created from when somebody utilizes their credentials. And then the most important thing here, which we all know, is user training, because 85% of breaches really involved the specificness of the human element, certain levels of mistakes that are being made. So our platform, the Halo Connect platform, which we'll get into, and as we describe Halo CAD more and what we offer, mitigates for all of these vulnerabilities that companies in today's day and age just face more of. And lastly, of course, a secure cloud environment we take care of. Gold Comet takes care of. Blake, back to you.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited about the joint offering that we have. Also, from this perspective, from the perspective of mitigating any vulnerabilities, what you're getting with a hybrid joint offering from Secure and Gold Comet is a very granular access controls, encryption and labeling on the file itself, which follows the file wherever it goes. And you're also getting the enhanced encryption on the Gold Comet storage platform as well. So, while some might think this is overkill, we think this is the perfect solution for collaborating with very valuable IP in a very risky environment these days. The next one here is, let's talk about a little bit about defense cybersecurity requirements for CAD files. With CMMC 2.0, what happens with CAD files is most often times CAD files are CUI and need to be treated as such. And so that means, these have to be protected in a certain manner. These environments have to be assessed every year. And that's the other reason why we're collaborating with Gold Comet to produce this joint offering. This has everything to do with protecting the file while it's being collaborated on, and not opening it up to a larger threat landscape than it absolutely needs to be. And again, I'll let Gautam tell you a little bit more about some of these other controls, but this environment is going to be very effective for things like specified CUI or ITAR data, or even confidential and classified data. We just had a meeting on this today, where they need to not only mark and protect the files in a certain way, but also observe certain file dissemination rules. And Gautam, I'll let you talk a little bit more about the data encryption in the platform.
Sure. Thanks, Blake. So when you really look at it from two sides of the equation, what's required for compliance and what you can utilize our capabilities to do. So what's required for compliance is you need levels of access control. You need multi-factor authentication. You also need that for something we're going to introduce shortly, which we call zero trust collaboration. But you need to know who's from both the sender side of the file and the receiver file, as you're trying to collaborate. Two parties are trying to collaborate. Both of those angles have to be not only managed and documented, but in place to follow CUI regulations specific to CMMC compliance. Right. You also need to have an incident response and detection plan and action moving forward. How are you made aware that there was an incident that took place? So through the logging and those capabilities that the platform offers, we're able to tell you that. So on the left-hand side, you have essentially what you need to have compliance. You need a resilient data encryption process, which we provide you. You need privileged access control, which basically informs what users are going in and what they're able to do when they get in, right? You need to have factors of authentication so that both parties that are collaborating with each other are meant to be there. And lastly, you need it all documented and detailed so that on a weekly, monthly basis, however your company operates, you can refer to those files on a daily basis if needed, or you're clearly aware of the logs of what is taking place with the movement of data around your organization and with collaboration techniques. On the other side, on the right-hand side, you basically have the types of data that are going to come under this umbrella. And the brilliant thing that Secure does by wrapping the file, you're able to have a labeling process that allows the dissemination of what actions are going to be taken around the file. So as you create a CAD file, and if you label it, which is the capabilities of Secure, if you label it CUI or something of that nature, then clearly that could limit or increase certain privileges that you have. Are you able to delete that file? Are you able to actually store that file? Are you able to move that file around? So those type of things, as well as others, allow for the labeling process to happen. Okay. So the benefit that we have from the Secure side is you're able to some degree automate the labeling process that allows you to control the action moving forward. And then GoldComet kicks in by your storage and your capability to collaborate. Blake?
Excellent description. Got it. Thank you. So let's talk about the Secure and GoldComet solution. We'll talk about two different things here. We'll talk about the actual Halo CAD technology, which is the file wrapping technology that we referred to, and where you're actually applying labeling. And again, labeling is about sensitivity labeling, and I'll talk about that as we describe what Microsoft Purview is versus something like marking. Within CUI, you've got marking requirements and things like that, which we can also, something a little advanced topic we might do something on later. But we're actually keeping these files in that format as we're putting them on the Halo Connect powered by GoldComet collaboration platform. And so let's dive right into some of the technology here.
I've got a
person. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. We've got a quick polling question for the group. Sorry, Blake, I didn't know if you could see it, but what stage at the CMC process is your organization? Just getting started and aligning org's internal processes? Process is complete and looking for applications to meet CMC compliance. I'll give everyone a few seconds to go ahead and submit your answer. And just a reminder, I know we had some people joining in late. Anytime if you have any questions, go ahead and submit those through the Q&A widget, and we'll be sure to get to your question. But I'm going to go ahead and close this and let Blake continue. Thanks, Blake.
All right.
Thank you.
So we're good to go. So first thing I want to talk about is Microsoft Purview. For those of you that don't know what Microsoft Purview is now a platform that comes with a Microsoft 365 subscription. So if you have Microsoft 365 subscription, that's business premium or higher, you already have what they call the Microsoft Purview. Microsoft Purview is a large platform. It's a governance, risk, and compliance platform with data security built in. And again, we don't have time to cover the whole platform today, but I just want you to see all these different features and functions.
Can you reshare, Blake? Sorry.
Yeah, quick note, just please reshare.
My polling question turned off your screen sharing. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, my bad. Let me see if I can get to that.
No problemo at all.
And then we'll just have a couple, we'll have a couple more polling questions during the webinar as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's great.
So I apologize, folks. Let me go back to let me know when you can see that.
You're good. You're good.
Perfect. Thank you.
See if I can get back to my original screen. Oh, love this.
All great. You were diving into Halo CAD and how it utilizes the Microsoft Purview capabilities. Fantastic.
Yeah, let me see if this will. Okay. All right. So Microsoft Purview, again, very large platform. All these data governance, risk, compliance, and data security functions. Really, the one that we want to focus on here is called information protection up here in the right-hand side of the screen. So that's one piece of the Microsoft Purview platform. So what is Microsoft Purview Information Protection? Microsoft Purview Information Protection is a very robust platform that can be used to do a bunch of things. One, first and foremost, it's got a very robust data classification engine. And so with this, we're able to classify data on the fly using different information available to us. When it's CAD files, we can actually reach into things like PLM systems and understand who the user is that's accessing this file, what types of how has this been classified in a PLM system, and then we can then map that to what they call sensitivity labels below, which describe these. Sensitivity label gets attached to the file and follows that file around, and that sensitivity label has underneath it a whole set of rules and policies that are part of the sensitivity label. And so how do we do this? We actually integrate with something called the Microsoft Information Protection SDK. We also integrate with the CAD software libraries. So we can go into the CAD functions themselves. We can actually write data to the actual CAD file, but we can also control the CAD application functions, things like the ability to save and whatnot. So that kind of goes to the right side of the screen. One of the things that Microsoft Purview Information Protection has built in, because it was originally designed for MS Office applications, the ability to truncate application functions. So you can define a policy that says, hey, I want management to have complete rights to modify this file, but for everyone else, they can only view it. We can do that with Microsoft Purview Information Protection. And so we can also do things like restrict, edit, copy, paste, print, even the ability to print screen, the ability to export. We can assign an expiration date to that. We can watermark the file in some cases. Or we can instantly revoke access from anyone that we've shared the file with. So this is a great way, especially for collaboration. It's a great way to ensure a few things. One is if that file ever leaves the premise, if somebody were to put a file, somehow get their hands on the raw file, put it on a USB drive and walk out the front door, there's no way for them to use that file. They have to be part of the enterprise solution and have access to Halo CAD. So this is the Halo CAD solution using Microsoft Purview Information Protection. And this is how we actually lock down the CAD files themselves. And so this is what it looks like. It's very simple. On the left-hand side, you would have an engineer working on his CAD design, his CAD workstation, and he would install a Halo CAD plugin. This actually works. Again, it's got the MPIP functionality built into it. It's also working with directly with the CAD application. And so what this is doing is it extending the protection of Microsoft Purview Information Protection to cover that platform. And this extends Microsoft Purview Information Protection, which natively protects things that you would know as MS Office documents, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, what have you. But now we can extend that to all these different CAD file formats. So that includes, CAD file formats from Autodesk, Autodesk Inventor, AutoCAD Revit. We also have integrations for PLM systems like AutoCAD Vault, PTC, their Creo workstation and their Windchill PLM, Siemens NX and Solid Edge and their Teamcenter PLM, Dassault SolidWorks PDM, and also the SAP and Keytech PLMs, if you know what those are. So again, we're extending the reach of Microsoft Purview Information Protection into these applications that are non-native to Microsoft and in formats that Microsoft wouldn't typically understand.
All right, we've got another polling question. I'm going to see if this works. And sorry if there's can we see polling question number 2? How important is a CMC compliant file collaboration tool to your organization? Very important. We collaborate outside of the organization with external partners. Important, but we only collaborate internally, or not important. We don't collaborate internally or externally. Give everyone a few seconds to answer that. And if you're having issues, I apologize, and I might have to share this in a Microsoft form. It's a little bit new for me doing polling questions, so we're hoping to make this as interactive as possible. So I'll go ahead and swing it back over to Blake.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just reshare this. All right. Can everyone see this again?
We
We
can.
can, thank you.
All right. Okay. So this is the combined offering from Secud and Gold Comet. It involves files that are protected with the Halo CAD technology, which I just walked you through, which are being wrapped with Microsoft Purview Information Protection. Also with sensitivity labeling, which includes a level of access control and other features and functions that I mentioned, the ability to truncate application functions, for instance. And this is going to be used in conjunction with a very secure storage environment. So, Gautam, why don't you tell us about the storage environment and how we're going to collaborate on this stuff?
Absolutely. Thank you, Blake. Let me back up a second, though. Let me just break it down in exactly the process of what the users are going to do, from the creation of the CAD file all the way to the storage angle of it. Okay, so the user works for your organization, is an engineer within your company, creates a CAD file. As they press save on that that file will go through the Halo CAD process. Okay, as that Halo CAD process happens, the file is wrapped, as to what Blake was saying. Now, with those wrappings, you can create certain levels of credentials and access and things to do, functionalities. So all of that is taken care of, and the CAD file now has a level of protection. Okay, and it's stored on your local or your network computer and stuff like that. The next step is you really want to collaborate with it now, right? We're still adhering to CMMC rules, but you need to collaborate. You work with companies outside of your organization or within your organization, different departments, things of that nature, that you need to have CMMC compliance and rules and regs followed on the collaboration or sharing of information. From there, the file is dragged and dropped into Go Comet, into our Halo Connect application, to be candid, which is Go Comet. From there, you have the sender of the information and the owner of the information has their own separated file area. The organization has their own separated file area. And under that organizational account, each one of the users that we will program ahead of time when you purchase the application and the platform will all be set up. And then from there, you're able to collaborate on your file. Our process to ensure zero trust collaboration doesn't actually send out the file to a new user. It sends out a link of the file to a new user once that to a new receiver of information, and once that person is verified and they their credentials are marked and all of that is done properly, they're able to view the file. Our platform has a full-on capability of viewing for all of the CAD files and file types that Blake spoke about, where they're able to view the file specifically on their side of the equation. So you know that the file has gone to the right person. It has been authenticated so that the person can actually open the file, and then that person is able to view the file right where they are on a time boxed capability and timeline for them to view it. If you want to have restrictions in how long the viewer on their side operates for, all of those things can be marked out. So in a nutshell, you're able to create the file, which you do. You're able to store the file with a drag and drop system. You're able to share the file for zero trust collaboration where all parameters are met for CMMC compliance. And then you're able to, the file is eventually stored at Gold Comet. So going back to that CUI data lifecycle, all of those processes that we spoke about are employed. How you store, how you share, how it's used, how it's archived, and what happens at the disposal, of course, which is what your organization would like to do with the file.
Yeah. The other thing I want to throw in there. So again, this is a very well-equipped collaboration environment. We can not only view 3D and 2D CAD models for most or pretty much all of the ones that you saw on the previous slide from all those manufacturers, as well as others that we don't have. In addition to that, there's other manufacturing files that could be CUI. This could include MS Office documents, PDFs, what have you. These are all fair game, and all of these can be collaborated on and shared in the Halo Connect environment. So again, very secure environment. There's no possibility of data leakage because we're not allowing a download or of these files from anyone. They're collaborated on in place in the secure environment, the secure enclave, and are super secure. So I don't know how many times I say secure, but somebody should find me for that.
37. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Without security, we don't have it, right? CMMC requires it. Organizations are fighting it every day.
Everyone's getting security overload here. And so, the thing to remember that we're talking about a process here. We're talking about a collaboration environment that was specifically designed for things like CMMC 2.0, or, another example would be for the architecture, engineering, and construction world where, building information management is another one where this type of environment could work very well. So again, what are you getting as part of that? We're getting zero trust file protection that is applied to the file. But while it's being collaborated on, while it's in the Gold Common environment, if you ever share that outside or leak that outside, it's useless to people that would come across that file. We can actually track the files, both within the organization, because we're using Microsoft Purview information protection. It's possible to track the files as they're being, through the workflow process of labeling and encrypting them, as well as when they leave or they're going to be used by someone on the inside or someone on the outside. We're capturing that information, through Microsoft, through the Entra ID information. And again, intercepted files, they're of no use to anyone that might come across them. Again, you can view a wide range of files. I mentioned, not just 2D CAD, but 3D CAD, all of the manufacturers that we support, as well as MS Office, PDF. And again, these never leave the Gold Comet environment, so there's no possibility to leak them. And if we have the need to share, again, collaboration requirements vary between different supplier partners. If there's a need for a supplier partner to have full edit access, we can set that up in this Halo Connect environment. So there's no restrictions to how deep you want to collaborate. We're just making sure that the ability to share something on a view-only basis is as secure as possible. Got it?
Thanks, Blake. I appreciate the way that you described and expressed how we are frameworking the process. I'll add to that by also saying that we're also providing the tool that completes that frameworked process, and that tool adheres to standards and compliances that the industry is requiring each of the organizations within the industry to adhere to. Okay, so not only are we giving you the full framework of how you do it, but we're also doing it for you so that when the organization utilizes our platform and our tool, all of those processes are met, which equates to levels of CMMC compliance for your organization, right? So, I mean, not only are we solving your problem, we're obviously keeping it more secure. We're giving you more tools to collaborate on that you may not have in the past, that a lot of them don't even exist in the point of zero trust collaboration. We're providing that service that's not really out there. So these are a variety of benefits that we're providing with the Halo Connect offering. On the storage side and regarding compliance, Gold Comet adheres to all those rules and regs, whether it's FIPS and how we have access control and how we store data and how we have to have end-to-end encryption, and all of those parameters are met. As I expressed in the beginning part of this webinar, Gold Comet is a quantum secure object level encryption data storage management platform. So we provide all of those capabilities through quantum security and object level encryption when the information comes into our storage facility. We're able to give you that all in a one-stop shop, right? We're not on a public cloud. We're in our own private cloud. That's a benefit to users as well. You're not forced to adhere to rules of certain public clouds and things like that, you have all of those facilities already baked out in the Halo Connect offering. We also have AES 256-bit level encryption at motion and in rest, as I expressed. Everything is encrypted end to end. Quantum integration, so our algorithms adhere to those levels of quantum measures. So I mean, it's the most difficult to get into. I can leave it at that. Of course, permission-based access, right? Access control, access credentials, all of those are logged. And lastly, with our logs and reporting, you're able to satisfy your requirement by CMMC to show what has taken place and where within the tools that you're utilizing, passing CUI data around for possibly your collaborative reasons.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to toot the quantum horn one more time for you. Post-quantum crypto or PQC, everyone's probably seen that. It's been a big deal for a while now, but this is all about the preparation for quantum computing being able to brute force, things like AES 256. And so Gold Comet's already ahead of that, and they've already integrated, post-quantum strength into their encryption algorithm. So it's something, if you're looking for a solution that's going to be post-quantum strength, they already have that built in. Just a more or less a little bit of a summary here on what we just learned, some high points about securing CAD files. The MS Purview sensitivity labels provide robust file access control and application function policy. So again, just looking at that, you're not just applying this sensitivity label. you're inheriting through that, the policies that were defined for that label, which includes access controls, which can be individual users, groups, etc., and also defining application functions for those different groups, so that you can restrict application functions at will for certain levels of users. So it's in addition to, basic authentication controls. So it's a perfect solution. Our Halo CAD solution is a perfect solution for protecting against insider threats, especially with a very valuable IP. FIPS compliant key management encryption to meet DoD standards. Gautam will tell you they have that on their side. On the Microsoft Purview information protection side, we also have that. So you can run this in a FIPS mode, and it satisfies all the DoD requirements. And in fact, the Microsoft services that these are tied to can run in the Microsoft DoD cloud if need be. We can define, again, file expiration dates for any files that are shared, brought into the collaboration platform. If you need to shut those down for any reason, you can revoke that at any time that you need, and then viewing turns off. So this is a way to again another stopgap control for ensuring that you have full control over collaboration activities, and you can terminate them at will whenever you need to. And again, files are encrypted in transit and double encrypted at rest. I love this. It sounds redundant. People say you're crazy. Why do you do it? Because we can, and because it's necessary. When a file, especially any unstructured data files, are encrypted, then they're encrypted in transit as well. And even though we're using, I think, correct me, I think we're using TLS 1.3.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. Even if we're using the highest rated and least vulnerable TLS version, if somebody gets a man in the middle, I don't know how you do that, but there's nation states out there that can do that type of stuff. We still have the package encrypted. So again, very strong security. Over to you, Gautam.
Yeah, and as per CMMC rules and regs, every account will have an individualized, sectioned off enclave, right? Nothing is grouped together from a variety of organizations. As we briefly discussed before, as you purchase the package, all of the information for the organization and the users will be preloaded into the system, right? So those levels of credential control and capabilities will be marked there. And each user will have their own separate account underneath the organizational account. It's a super simple drag and drop process. So the capability to upload a file to the individual user account, which is under the umbrella of the organizational account, all CMMC compliant, is super simple. You drag and drop it in. You will have your own button to share. That capability would have already been pre-authorized to you, and then you're able to put in the recipient's email address, credential, things like that, and then the multi-factor authentication process will happen on that other side to make sure that the right person is receiving the right information. And as Blake mentioned, there's an expiration date. We can time box these things where, if the sensitivity of your file is only required for, minutes, hours, days, however it has to do, we can certainly put that in. And those can be revoked immediately if that changes, or not. So we've created a step-by-step process, understanding what the user is going to do from both the sender side and the receiver side to make it not only compliant, but as easy as possible for the sender to be able to collaborate in a zero trust collaboration environment, all meeting the CMMC compliance standards. Yep. Blake, back to you.
Awesome. Lastly, just some customer use cases as we get towards the end here. I had mentioned that AEC, or architecture, engineering, and construction, is governed by something called ISO 19650. It's about building information modeling, and also uses things called common data environments, very similar to what we've just shown you here. The difference being, and hence the reason for ISO 19650. These have been sort of loosely governed environments in the building industry that they're starting to take note of and want to make more secure through ISO 19650. So again, this is, we beat you over the head with CMMC, but this can be used for other types of applications. Also, any remote organizations that need this type of ability, whether you have CAD or not. Again, this is the primary business of Gold Comet outside of what we do, which is more focused on the CAD side. This is a great centralized, strong security and compliant storage environment for anyone working remotely. And then, of course, external supply chain partners, as you need to collaborate with those, especially around CAD designs. That's what we special purpose this for. So again, we have pretty much all of that ready to go for you. And just to wrap up here a little bit, HaloCAD, we've talked about it. HaloCAD is really the granular protection technology, which is really akin to attribute level access controls more than role-based access controls, but it does the labeling of the files. The attachment of that sensitivity label does bring in the ability to enforce role-based access controls directly to that file. We can also limit application functions. We can allow or deny viewing on demand. And I'll turn it over to you, Gautam, to talk more about the storage side.
Sure, thank you. So as it comes into our area, we spoke about object level encrypted backups, right? We don't encrypt on a batch level. We do it on an object level. Clearly, this enhances your company's security and your company security posture towards not only how you're operating, but to satisfy the need for CMMC requirement, which dovetails to what Blake was speaking of before this slide, which can pertain to a few different industries that are requiring protection around CAD files specific to CMMC and DoD, or other venues and areas, right? And frankly speaking, we make it just easy to use. We sat in the user's shoes and said, what are the areas here to not only meet compliance, ease of use, limited steps, and all of that plus more, all that on the above, to make sure that when you actually start using this, it becomes second nature, right? It's a quick drag and drop. You want to share the file. It's pop-ups happen, and MFA happens properly and organized so that compliance is met, but also so that the security of the file is shown only to the right person, and those have multiple layers as well. So at the end of the day, the secure cloud environment and the capability that you have within the secure cloud environment for your CAD file is not only not in the industry right now, but it satisfies your need for tomorrow and what CMMC 2.0 and the next level of that as well, as Gold Comet is already in the quantum world.
Totally agree. And right, our webinar recap. So yeah, this is really targeted at companies that use CAD or other types of manufacturing documents that they need to collaborate with, from their designers to their supply chain partners, and where any project is at risk from a cyber attack. DIB, defense industry based primary contractors and subcontractors who need to follow CMMC, and we apply MPIP file security to each CAD file, and then again, on top of that, when it's in the Halo Connect environment, it enforces what Gautam likes to say, and who coined this term, zero trust collaboration. which you don't hear about too much. So really excited about it. And yeah, what would you like to add to that, Gal?
Yep. I mean, we do understand that in this environment, we all don't work in a silo, right? We have to clearly collaborate, whether that's just internally or most likely with other partners, right? So externally, how that's done properly to not only CMMC compliance, but to the highest level of your organization standards, right? To make sure that the files are in the safest environments that they can be. We provide you that process specific to CAD files.
Yep.
All right, we've got some
All right.
questions for Q&A. While I'm
Great.
getting those ready, if those that haven't, I know some people answered the third polling question ahead of time, but I'll share it if you haven't already. Let me flip to this third question. How much of your operations rely on cloud-based services? We extensively use cloud-based services. We use a combination of air-gapped or on-prem and cloud-based services. We are completely air-gapped and or on-prem and do not use cloud-based services. And I have a few questions. I'm going to go ahead and give the first question. I'm going to read that one out loud. So whoever wants to take this one. How secure are CAD files in transit from my workstation to the shared storage environment?
Sure, I'll take that. So as the file is drag and dropped into Halo Connect, everything is encrypted end to end. That's a requirement for CMMC. So as soon as it comes in and it passes that arena, the user is already logged in, right? They're already logged into Halo Connect, and as they drag and drop files, those get encrypted immediately. So there's no security gap between the file going into Gold Comet and how you are going to utilize it for your collaboration purposes as you move down the process of what Halo Connect does.
Right, and the next question, I think this one might be for Blake. And in case the audience wants to know, I am posting these questions in the Q&A widget. Does Halo CAD apply FIPS level encryption?
Yeah, I kind of covered that in the presentation. So like all Microsoft products, Microsoft does a lot of business with the government, and FIPS is a requirement. And so while not all products run off the shelf in FIPS mode, there's always a way to turn at least most Microsoft products into running in FIPS mode. And that applies to Microsoft Purview Information Protection. And we've actually wired that up so that you can choose to run with FIPS or without FIPS.
Right, great. And one of the questions just relates to the webinar. We will be sharing the deck on a PDF of the deck. We'll also share the webinar demand. And I think we've got about time for one last question. Please provide more clarity on the phrase zero trust collaboration that you used a few times in the presentation. Yep, there we go. That was a great one.
Good question.
I don't take that.
Thanks. Yeah. So, we have to define really what is zero trust, right? And zero trust in the security world is a gate that needs to be crossed every single time you are going to do a new process or application, right? So now how do you make sure that those gates are crossed and in compliance with CMMC, right? So when you're going through the process of getting into our system, dragging and dropping a file, which those privileges are given beforehand by your organization, and then in the collaboration point of how a sender and a receiver are going to start communicating, so that receiver can just view the file. All of those processes, whether it's MFA, whether it's the link that the receiver is going to receive, when the link is clicked, that receiver is only able to view the file. They cannot download, delete, or alter the file. All of those gates that you have to cross, we are calling zero trust collaboration. So you have the capability to do all of these things and literally collaborate with somebody outside of your environment in a complete trustworthy environment that meets CMMC standards. Blake, anything to add? I hope that summarizes zero trust collaboration, right?
No, I think that was a great description. I just wanted to add that maybe, since May of 2021, this was an executive order from the President of the United States that this is not an option for federal agencies anymore, that they have to employ zero trust wherever they can and as quickly as they can. And so that's what we're really doing here. We're creating a service that companies who find themselves needing to collaborate in this fashion can adopt it quickly and do business in a very compliant manner. So again, very excited to be working with Gautam and the Gold Comet team to be putting Halo Connect powered by Gold Comet out there, and looking forward to evolving that as everything changes and as we know it will.
And one last thing, Blake, a few people asked if we could share the contact information. I believe that's on the last slide. And I'll just remind everyone, you'll be getting an email to come from me. My name's Lon Bain. So you'll see an email coming from me with the presentation. We'll also have another piece of collateral that's related that we will share with everyone as well. And here's the contact information that was asked for. Any wrapping notes, guys?
Thank you to Lon and to our Gold Comet team as well, Roz, who has helped us put this together and made it an incredible webinar with information as well as capabilities for the webinar. Thank you both across the board. Everybody here, please take a screenshot of that. You'll also get the slide deck as Lon mentioned. We'd like to answer all of your questions, showcase how we can be of service to you to not only secure your CAD files, but give you opportunity to collaborate and grow your business, all within the compliance needs that you need to satisfy. And thank you to Blake, of course, as well.
Yeah, and thanks to the Gold Comet team and also Lon, the marketing team for Secud. It was a great effort, and just really looking forward to getting people on the platform, getting some feedback from customers. I know we've already had some feedback from some of the customers in the field that we were a little too late with this. We need to have something sooner. So it's here. We're ready for you. Let's have a discussion.
All right. Well, I want to thank you both for speaking today, and this will conclude today's webinar. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.